In 2014, our founders, Vance and Mary Jo Patterson, visited the National Archives in Washington, D.C., and they saw firsthand the Declaration of Independence, U.S. Constitution, Bill of Rights, and all of the amendments that made our country what it is today and give us our rights and freedoms. They were so moved by this experience that they actually were brought to tears, and they asked each other, why is it that we're in our 60s and this is the first time that we're seeing these documents? And then their entire trip back home to North Carolina, they were talking about how many people across the country never get a chance to see these firsthand. So they started working with their home community of Morganton, North Carolina, about building an exact replica of these on the courthouse lawn in Morganton. And about a year later, they did just that. The city council approved it, and so once it was approved, they started looking for blueprints, and they realized that there are no drawings or blueprints for the National Archives. They went back up to Washington, D.C., to the National Archives, and they stood in front of the middle of the Constitution and kind of did a step to kind of measure about how wide it was. And then Mary Jo kind of walked up next to it with a piece of chalk and was marking on her pants leg the approximate heights from front to back. And so they could just have an idea of the scale of it. They went back to Morganton and started working on the first replica, which was dedicated in 2014, with the idea of gifting these to all of the counties in North Carolina. And then that grew into all of the counties in North and South Carolina. And now our long-term goal is to place one of these in all 3,142 counties in the entire United States, so that the citizens of those counties can see these documents firsthand without having to incur the cost of going to Washington, D.C. A lot of communities have incorporated them into veterans parks or in front of courthouses or in places where they do a tree lighting ceremony, just so it's kind of the center of the community. And we looked at Rainey Park last week as a possible location. We love that location. Our organization loves it. And we would like to see how we can move forward in this process. How much is this going to cost? Nothing. We raise money through donations from private individuals, businesses, organizations, and once a letter of intent is signed to place a setting here in Georgetown County, we're going to place a setting in Georgetown County. A brick setting like that, the average cost is around $28,000.
Mayor, I use our downtown parks almost at least every week, but several times a week. And we have small little pocket parks. We have very little grass downtown. Rainey Park is the one exception where we have a little bit of green space and a beautiful view of that fountain. And my blood bleeds red, white, and blue with the next guy. But I have a strong exception to tying up the one decent little park we have with a couple thousand square feet of impervious area. I think we need to think about this. I like the idea of maybe directly abutting the sidewalk, but that is literally the only park we have there, and it is a tiny park that has any amount of grass to it. And so I think there's a conflict here between this improvement and then our enjoyment of what little green space that we have. I push back strongly on this location, and I wish we would reconsider other opportunities, because again, we can't build any more parks downtown. We're under pressure with what little that we have. I want us to really consider this before we pave a couple thousand square feet of grass. It's just, it bothers me that we haven't thought this through.
Well, I have a problem with what he just said. We talk about education, we talk about grass. I think this would be good for the park, the location and all. The grass, I think this would be better, bring more point than grass. If that's the only reason, the grass, I I don't think we should deny this because he thinks grass, because we messing with grass. That's my point.
I think this is for discussion, and no decisions are to be made tonight. So it would behoove all of us to walk around and take a look. Now that we know the size and the scope and what it looks like, this is new to all of us. And let's take a look at different areas and meet with our Main Street coordinator and take a walk and see what type of space it's going to take, because now we know the size of the scope of the project. It's a beautiful project and we would love it somewhere.
Thank you.
We don't have to agree where tonight.
Absolutely.